Hey everyone, it's Cashew. Today's adventure brings us to Batavia, Ohio to the Tri-State Warbird Museum. Now they have a smaller collection than you would find at the Air Force Museum up in Dayton, but that doesn't mean that they don't have some hidden gems. Let's go take a look. Our adventure starts here. This is a facsimile of one of their barracks. Let's go in and check it out. This is what the inside of the barracks would look like with the bunks. And two ever-present items in a barracks: a pinup and a photo of their sweetheart. In one of the rooms they have a very nice library of books and memorabilia. Here's a collection of sweetheart pillows. Pilots in training would send them to their wives or girlfriends when they were training so they could have something to remember them by. As you walk in, you see their collection of airplanes and cars. This is the airplane that contained the engine I just showed you. This is the PT-17 Stearman biplane. It was one of the planes that pilots used to be trained. This display shows the progression of planes that pilots would fly as they became more experienced. They would start off with a Piper Cub, then progress to the Stearman, then the Valiant, then the T6, and finally the Corsair. One of the volunteers in the museum told me that after some design readjustments, this plane became a formidable opponent to the MiGs during Vietnam. Because this was a prop airplane, it could turn sharper corners against the jet-propelled MiGs. This is how the training facilities would look when they were training pilots in the early stages. Here's a Jeep from the museum that they were able to buy for $1. Very good deal. This P-40 Kitty Hawk has an interesting story with it. After it was restored, the pilot took it up for a test flight, and about 6,000 feet, the oil pan blew out, and he was able to return and crash land here at the museum. If the crash land wasn't bad enough, the pilot was cited for illegal parking. Here's a close-up of the inside of the P-40. This was in the P-40 when the oil pan blew out. You can see the damage. This is the T6 Texan. This is one of the planes I showed you the model of to train pilots. They would use it to teach carrier landings, aerial gunning, glide bombing, and aerial photography, among other things. Among the airplanes, they also have several cars on loan from the period. This is a 1937 Ford Woody station wagon. Some of you may recall the Woody if you ever watched those old 1960s beach movies. This 1940 Packard sedan is probably my favorite car from this whole museum. This is the TBM-3 Avenger, and what makes this aircraft so noteworthy is this is the type of plane George H.W. Bush flew when he was shot down. One of the volunteers told me a story about George H.W. Bush. He actually crashed twice in this airplane. Not this particular airplane, but this model. This was a very versatile plane. It would carry torpedoes, rockets, depth charges, and bombs. And this is an old Hudson. The balcony offers a very nice view of this part of the museum. The museum does a great job of displaying their artifacts. Let's check out the second hangar. There's something I want you to see. Check this out. Here's a display of Apollo 11 astronaut and Warbird Museum supporter Neil Armstrong. This is a 1937 Buick 40 Special. This is one of the planes that they're currently working on. It's an FW-190 Butchered Bird. During World War II, it was considered Germany's best single-engine fighter. You can see they still have a little work to do. If you recall my vlog on Disney Goes to War, here are some of the patches that the Disney artists worked on. This is the B-25 bomber, and I was told by someone here that this is the type of bomber Doolittle's Raiders flew. Doolittle's Raiders flew the first bombing mission against Japan after Pearl Harbor. This is where the machine gunner sat in the nose of the plane. You see there were additional turrets at the sides and at the tail of the airplane. This is part of their workshop where they restore the planes. This is really cool. These are flight simulators that give you an IMAX experience, and you can engage in a dogfight with one of your friends. This place is definitely a hidden gem off the beaten path, and if you ever get a chance to check this place out yourself, you should. The staff are friendly and helpful and do an excellent job of honoring our veterans. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And if you already subscribed to my channel and you know someone who might like my videos, please encourage them to subscribe and join us. Until then, this is Cashew signing off.